Mark, God put that iceberg there for a reason, and I don't think you should move it. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another season of Invincible. We are back, season 3, and yeah, it's about time to jump right back into the mayhem that is the world of Mark, Mr. Mark. So yeah, I don't remember a ton, honestly. It's been a minute since I watched the last season, but I believe where we're basically at is we know that Nolan is still in prison, but he's been contacted by, I can't remember the name of the alien that is played by Seth Rogen, but either way, there's been contact made, and Nolan is missing his wife back on Earth. It looks like his time in prison has given him some time to put some perspective on his life. And back on Earth, Mark has taken over raising his little brother, and his mom is trying to move on and, start dating and all that good stuff with her life, while Mark is trying to navigate what this world's gonna be like. But he is definitely not the same since taking out what was his name again? I was gonna say Tolliver, but that's not his name. Anyways, the villain of last season, he actually took a life for the first time on purpose, and Mark has not been handling that well. So going into this season, we're gonna have to see how he's going to deal now with this change in his life, and what it's gonna mean now that there's so many other things happening. There's still the threats of all of his dad's people and what it might mean for Earth, and apparently the ways to defeat them were in the books that his father wrote, but his mom got rid of all those things in her attempts to move on. So yeah, we're probably gonna start the season with Mark trying to figure out exactly who he's gonna be going forward and what he's gonna do as a superhero to protect Earth from the Viltrumites. So let's get into episode 1 of season 3, which is called You're Not Laughing Now, right now. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know when I drop these episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, they're out of the way. Let's get into the episode right now. Smart with the shading.
You could do better than that.
I'ma hurt you so bad.
There's this guy now. Go on, Mark. His nipples are right there. You could have given him a little twist there.
Oh, I did it.
I'm glad someone finally pointed that out, though. So many times in these types of shows, people be celebrating when they don't even know if the battle's done.
Okay?
No, you're me.
I agree.
He's been a champ. His parents are getting worried. It's only 8 after all.
And we assure you, we're still searching for a cure for his condition.
That Viltrumite's coming through a little strong. I'm not fighting an 8-year-old. I don't care if he's got the strength of 1,000 men. His psyche is still 8. Mark, God put that iceberg there for a reason, and I don't think you should move it. Just causing tsunamis for practice, like, bro.
Finally live up to the name.
All right.
So, the billion-dollar question.
Is he stronger than his dad?
Did he beat that Viltrumite woman who made us all shit our pants?
Oh, yeah, her too. But I think his dad would be the better barometer.
Fuck me!
I'd rather not.
So, how much did all this cost, Cecil?
More than you'll ever see.
Look, I'm trying to give you the finger right now, and I can't.
Look
It's my favorite finger!
It's his favorite finger, Cecil. Can we do something about that?
let the man express himself.
Believe it or not, but somebody appears to be stealing the Declaration of Independence from the National Archives building.
I am standing right here. You guys could at least pretend like you'd like my help.
Who knows how tough this could be? And there might be stuff that needs to be exploded.
He's like, whatever. Just get out of here. Then we don't have to fix his hand.
Suck.
Who are you? New guy.
National Archives Building, Washington.
Not a cult.
I'm not avoiding her, just with Oliver and my new training routine, I've been busy.
Or maybe his gut is telling him that staying away from Eve is a good idea because she's trouble. Messing with the past and making sure that she's in his future. All that, I haven't forgot. Meddler.
I don't want to hurt him too much. I think he's just a normal dude.
Normal this!
He's just a normal dude.
The move.
Oh, hey!
Paul!
Oh, multi-Paul.
You killed my sister!
Damn, didn't he just get fixed up?
Fight Master, you okay?
Fight master? Actually, they actually did fight well. They're just human. Oh, are they from the future? That'd be cool.
I did it.
They literally just left time.
I don't want to hurt you.
You can't hurt us no matter.
Do you not know? Is it just me or can, what's his name? Multipole or whatever? He seems to be able to make way more of them than Duplicate could.
You guys can see her too.
Right? He's like, while you're kicking my ass unnecessarily.
Why didn't you? You let me and Ray think you were dead.
She wanted to disappear for a while.
Yeah, well, it almost got me disappeared.
Right?
You knew. Ah, fuck you, Immortal.
Oh, it works!
Paul almost killed Rex. And because of him, those guys got away with the Declaration of Independence.
What?
I don't care if he's your brother. He's going to prison.
There's clearly a reason he was there. Man, just be out here just killing people with no facts. And y'all as twins.
Hi, Mom. Going outside to play. See you later.
They say they grow up fast.
I mean, he's abnormal.
His growth and development are off the charts.
He's not human. Let's not compare him to other human children, please. He's literally not human in either side.
Once you get your powers.
Promise.
I promise. But remember, I didn't get my powers until I was way older than you.
You forget that this kid he's half ant, right? He doesn't develop the way the rest of you do.
I missed you guys.
But not enough to tell us she was alive, so figure that one out.
I'm actually on Rex's on Rex's side on this one.
I always keep a copy for safekeeping.
We're both rejoining the Guardians, effective immediately.
Who says we're letting you back in?
Forged the ring myself.
Oh
using
my
metals
God.
I mined.
Yeah, yes, it's a yes or no.
Doc says she's all healed up and ready to get back to saving the world.
How's that PTSD?
Ain't nothing gonna stand up to us now. The family's
What?
back, baby.
Why would you jinx it like that?
Children here have reported hearing strange sounds from a local cave system.
Well, children hear a lot of things.
There's been 3 subway
I love the way that he just keeps adding to it. Like, I'm not finished, Cecil.
But when it graduates to more than a giant coincidence, call me.
There's one.
Let him finish.
And the fact that Oliver kept them a secret, I mean, that worries me.
He just wanted to surprise me.
Did he?
He's too young. He might get hurt. Or
Also,
hurt
he does
someone
not have the
else by
mental capacity to handle this. But then again, he has powers, so what are you gonna do?
Remember when I was trapped in that dimension with Angstrom and that other Eve showed up to save me? I didn't tell you guys everything she said.
You know, the way she just made sure that she mind screwed Mark so that they'd end up together.
Do you have feelings for Eve?
Well, he won't know for sure now, will he?
He's still having pain from what Sinclair did.
That's okay. I'm getting used to it.
No one gets used to heart pain.
You should talk to Eve.
You should talk to a doctor.
And you know that many superheroes have secret identities. Even your brother. This is your secret identity.
Cool.
Good way to frame it, Mom.
I'm Cecil Stedman.
I've heard of you. You tell superheroes what to do, and if they don't listen, you get super mad.
In a nutshell.
My responsibilities will always be to my family first, and that's never going to change. No matter what.
She said what she said. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why y'all don't think this man is doing something. You think he actually has to be in the earth? I would have been worried about the fact that he hasn't moved in days.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you serious?
Get out of there. I think everything's gonna start exploding.
What the fuck is this?
Oh. Man, Rex can't catch a break.
Show me seismic.
Other people have sons and daughters too. Sons and daughters who aren't as lucky as your boys.
That is not fair.
It isn't.
Every superhero in America has been abducted, except for 2.
Wow, the way his design looks like Mark now.
Other me, who is not me, told you how miserable she was?
Wait, no, that's not it.
Did you have feelings for me?
Isn't
before
it
you
though?
This better be fucking cataclysmic.
Kind of is, actually. Where are you going there, Tyke? You think she hasn't done this before? Not her first rodeo.
Tear down your false idols. Take back what you stole from the earth. A
But every time
I mean, he literally has a
stop
captive
it, I
audience
use
at this point because
superpowered-
otherwise, blah, 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 blah.
What do you want, Seismic?
Oh, didn't I make
He
that
just needs you to sit there while he basically strokes it out in front of you because that's what he's all about.
For you are all dust, and to dust.
Not you quoting scriptures now.
It's my old friends, token diversity and gender stereotype.
It's about right.
It turned ugly the day Homo sapiens took their first step onto land.
But you're a Homo sapien, bro. Seem to keep forgetting that.
Oh, that wasn't an attack.
I was about to say, he's probably doing something.
That's how we talk.
Y'all take way too much time. There's too much talking that's already happened. You could have knocked this bro out already.
How does a nobody like Doc Seismic pull shit like this?
How's he a nobody?
Seems to have found allies from somewhere.
Yeah, underestimation will always be the death of the arrogant.
You just want to be like Invincible, right? You know who's Invincible's mom? Mm-hmm. That's right. Me.
Put two and two together there, kid.
I'll ask him to start training you so someday you can be a hero just like him. As long as there's no more secrets between us. Promise?
I promise, I promise, I promise.
I mean, it's better for him to learn, right? The powers are here, and if he doesn't learn how to use them, then he's either going to hurt somebody, hurt himself, both. And yeah, with him, it's different than Mark, right? This kid is not human in any way, so you can't really track how his powers are going to go at all. Unlike Mark, who at least there's half human in there, so you have a little idea of what might be going on. But this kid is half bug, half Viltrumite. We have no idea. I feel like you're playing nice here, Mark. If this were your daddy, he would have ripped through them already.
Free the others!
I was about to say, that should have been your first plan. One of you keep them busy while the other frees the other people so you get help.
Goodbye.
She'll be fine.
Eve!
Is this the time to Eve? She'll be fine. Oh, not poison.
Eve! Are you okay?
Eve will be fine, bro. Save your friends so they can save Eve, my God.
Wake Eve up! She can get us out of these things!
Can she? I think Eve's got a concussion, bro. She literally got like the equivalent of a sonic jet going off in her face.
What happened?
You gotta get us out of here.
4.
Batman.
Goodbye forever.
Thanks, Batman. Good aim. Hey, the creepy bots are here. It's better than nothing.
What the fuck?
You had to know Cecil was not gonna let those go, bro. Alright guys, dream work is dream work. I don't know what to tell you. Mark and Eve had to do this all by themselves before, so tap in. Mark, not the time. Focus. Focus up, bro. Where are Rex's clothes? When are these guys gonna stop standing directly in front of this man? Gotta give it up to Batman. He actually did save the day. Oh, he was controlling them. And now that he's gone, they're chill.
Oh, you know what? That's okay. We won, my dick's out, and I don't care.
I mean, at that point, it's not the worst thing that's going on.
Darkwing? Darkwing too, technically. But yes.
Mark, I'm gonna need you to get it together.
The guy who made those things killed people. They almost killed my best friend. He's right. I did terrible things. But that was before.
And he also just saved your life, Mark. Prioritize.
Cecil said he put Sinclair away, and Darkwing too, and now they're both working for him?
Yeah.
I was an idiot to believe Cecil. Even my mom warned me about trusting you.
Stand down, Invincible.
Right?
They saved us.
The
They
timing,
saved
bro.
everyone here.
You're right, but this isn't the time.
And I'm sorry about before too. I messed it all up.
Dramatic as usual.
He turned people into monsters. He almost
Oh, he's
killed
healing.
William.
I like how they
He
showed that
should be in
his
prison.
wound is already half healed.
You don't waste people like that. You reform them. Repair them. Let them make restitution for their mistakes.
Mistakes? They murdered people!
So did you, technically.
Darkwing will never kill again. They both went through severe psychological reprogramming.
Ooh, that's kind of scary.
And are repaying the very substantial debt they owe us all.
That is bullshit, and you know it!
Is it? You killed
I
Angst
knew that
for
was
leaving?
coming.
Should I lock you up too?
Technically.
A man's still dead because of you.
Yeah.
But he almost killed my mom and brother.
Okay.
No way. I'm not going anywhere until Sinclair and Darkwing are both back in prison. I'm not leaving until... Wait, why are we in here again?
You followed him.
Who else is working for you?
The White Room is for my protection.
Protection from what?
From you, Mark. From you.
Yep, Mark. I mean, respectfully, you can pretty much take out anyone on the planet for the most part as far as little old humans without much effort. So, not that you would, but you could. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 1. And yeah, we kind of jumped right into the thick of things. Whew, Mark is still dealing with a lot, which I expected. You know, I really wasn't too convinced with the montage at the beginning with the training, you know, him seeming like everything's good. I mean, there's a lot still swirling around with Mark. And, you know, from last season, like he got messed up really bad with what Angstrom did to him. And of course, what he ended up having to do to Angstrom. And it's not something you get over in a matter of weeks or months. It's something that will stay with you, first of all, for life, but mostly because, again, I don't think Mark saw anybody. I don't think he's talking to a professional to talk him through this, because what happened with Angstrom had nothing to do with being a superhero. It had everything to do with him growing up as a human, having human emotions and morality for the most part, committing an act that he knows was intrinsically wrong. Now, again, I went through this last season and I know people are like, yes, but it was self-defense and Angstrom had to die. I get that. Not arguing that. But it's still wrong. Like, the act of killing is never okay. If one is pushed to the point of having to do that, there's still a price to be paid by the person who did it. And that's all I meant when I said that it's wrong no matter what. Because if it wasn't wrong and didn't have that type of effect on us, it would happen a lot more than it already does. Let's put it that way, right? There's a reason why people who do this regularly and don't feel anything about it end up usually behind bars or on lists, on wanted lists, right? Because that's not the human response. As humans, morally, in our compass, in our core, we are not wired to take each other's lives, maybe to hurt each other, but not to take life. It always leaves a mark. It takes a toll. It pays we pay a price if we do it that is very, very high and we live with for the rest of our lives. And that's the same with Mark, because he was not raised the way his father was. If he was Viltrumite, he wouldn't think twice about what happened with Angstrom, but he wasn't. He was raised as a human by a human mom with a strong moral compass, but she tried her best to instill in Mark. And that is why what happened with Angstrom, as he said, he thinks about it every single day. And he probably hasn't made full peace with it either. So anyways, all that to say that, you know, he's not okay yet. You know, he's trying to be, and I think it's good that he's trying to move forward. But I think this is why I'm only going to say this in this one episode because we're not going to revisit it again. But this is why I didn't like the idea of him and Amber not staying together. Like, fine, Adam Eve, you know, all the things that she said when he asked her out, I see, like, yeah, okay, yeah, they're both superheroes. They both know the risks. The lifestyle is fine. Even though, let's be real, if it came to Adam Eve against an actual Viltrumite that's at full strength, she's going to be just as vulnerable as Amber for the most part. But, and I mean, I know she's strong, by the way. I'm just saying, let's be real, right? But coming back, but really, the issue I have is that Eve has already shown that her moral compass is not really grounded. She still is finding herself as a superhero as well. And she's also shown herself to be quite, let's leave it. She's not as grounded as she needs to be. Can she become that way eventually? Most likely. But when you have two people who are powered and both meandering and also dealing with what it means to have this power and find their moral footing, that's not a good combination together. In fact, it's chaos feeding off of chaos, right? And so, yeah, they might be attracted to each other. They might like each other. And yes, it's nice that they have a lot in common. That's going to definitely be comforting. But as I said, the reason I think Amber was a much better match for Mark is that she would have been to Mark what his mother was to Nolan, right? Somebody who is, like I said, who's got a strong moral core, a foundation, someone who's unshakable in what they know is wrong and right, and who's not scared to stand up to somebody who had the ability to snap them in half at any given moment, to stand for what's right and remind them that they're supposed to have those morals as well, right? Like, that's who Amber is. That is not Eve. And Mark needs that. I think he needs that because he grew up up with it, but I also think it's something he needs as he grows in his power and more of that pressure from his Viltrumite side becomes part of his life. And again, I'm just sorry. I don't think that Eve's the right person to support him in that. But that's my rant on it. I know it's not going to happen, so we're going to let that go. Anyway, coming back, all of these things, that's why I don't think he's ready for a relationship with Eve right now, or anyone, honestly, until he figures that out and really deals with who he's going to be and how he's going to handle situations where we know that at some point he's probably, again, going to have to potentially take a life in order to protect himself or someone else. How is he going to deal with that? Where is he going to compartmentalize that? Or is he? Or where does he put that? All those things still need to be dealt with. So anyways, we see that, he is getting stronger. He is training, and Cecil is hoping that all of this is not only getting him set up to be able to handle any Viltrumites that might show up on Earth, but also I think he's testing the waters to see how controllable Mark is going forward, because obviously he thought he had Nolan under control and learned the hard way that he was nowhere close. But we see that there's a few things going on. Like, we've got some people who I'm assuming are from the future that have come back in time and stole the Declaration of Independence. So I don't think that's for nothing. I'm sure that's going to come back around later in the season at some point. But they were, from what we saw, there was no superpowers involved. They were just very agile, well-trained fighters, but human. So who they are and why they came and why they took that is an interesting subplot that I'm sure we're going to see more of later. And what else did we get? Yeah, Duplicate and the Immortal coming back to the team. They're engaged. Yay, I guess. But yeah, I'm glad at least that, that mystery is no longer a mystery. And the other girl, the shrinking girl, I forgot her name. So basically the gang is back together, and hopefully they can start training, some more and doing what they can to get stronger. But we already know that whatever they do is still not going to quite add up to what they need going forward with what's coming. But we'll have to see. I'm not against it. And then of course we had, Mark's little brother, who was named Oliver. Yeah, he's aged up as we knew he would. He is now, I guess we could say, around 10 years old for a human, somewhere in that realm, and his powers have come in. And he really wants to follow in Mark's footsteps, understandably, like he idolizes Mark, and he wants to start training immediately. And while I understand Deb's concerns, they're valid. He is way too young to be going out and, getting involved in some of the levels of battles that they're dealing with. However, as I said in the episode, he's got the powers and they're only going to grow. So he needs to start understanding just how dangerous he can be if he doesn't mind himself, if he doesn't mind his emotions. And, we have to also keep in mind that he's got the mind of, I guess a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. Point being, he doesn't have the emotional maturity yet or mental maturity to handle some of the high-level decisions he might have to make out in the field at this point. So I think at this point, as Deb said, I think that Mark needs to start training him as far as his powers, but him actually going out and doing anything, we're not there. At least for not a couple of months, right? And we heard the nanny say that she believes that his growth should slow down when he hits adolescence because, she doesn't really know. I think she's just tracking based on what she's seen. But I think that's about right? From what we saw of Oliver's mom last season, she said that their whole lifespan is a year in human terms. So we saw that as an adult, they got to be an adult, and then she started to age almost right away. So my guess is with the Viltrumite inside there fighting the hyper aging of the ant, I think that Oliver is going to fall somewhere in the middle. Like, I think he's going to be a teenager probably by mid-season at this rate. And then I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this season, he's like an adult. Like older than Mark, maybe someone who's supposed to be like in their 30s. But I feel like that's where he's going to cap out, is he's going to be like an adult, and that's where we're not going to see him get older per se, but we'll have to see how things go. But I'm really interested to see what they're planning on, where they're planning on taking this whole thing with Oliver, because I just don't see him being as good-hearted as Mark. I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they might be setting him up as a nemesis for Mark at some point. But anyway, we know that Cecil now has got his eye. He's always had his eye on Oliver. He wants to test him, and if he had his way, he would have had Oliver from birth, probably trying to indoctrinate him to be the perfect little soldier for him. But thankfully, Oliver has been able to grow up thus far with some level of autonomy. But we'll have to see, like I said, if that's going to be a blessing or a curse. But yeah, that's kind of where we left things. Seismic made a big mess. And we see also that Mark has figured out that Cecil never gives him full truths, and that he's pretty upset about the fact that the two people he thought he'd put away are back out on the street. But yeah, one thing he's going to have to learn working with Cecil is that there's always always going to be an exchange, right? There's never going to be a straight up, I get this and you get that. Like with Cecil, it's always got to be an opportunity that is milked. And so, yeah, I don't know what Mark's going to do about that. There's not much he can do about that. As we saw at the end, Cecil is prepared, right? He's got backup plans. We know from last season, he's studying that sonic sound, what would you even call it? I guess he's developing into a weapon, to be fair, but the sound that creature made underwater, that was one of the things that actually threw Mark off. Like, he is looking for every possible weakness a Viltrumite might have so that he can protect not only himself, but obviously, if it comes down to it, humanity. So Mark, I think, needs to take a minute and just think about that. Like, obviously, I know he wasn't planning on hurting Cecil. I don't think that that's, the way he rolls, but now he kind of knows the score, that uncontrolled emotions with his strength are not going to be viewed the same way they would from a regular person, right? Everyone knows that he is capable of doing a lot of damage, and whether he likes it or not, the fact that he has taken a life now in anger, no one's gonna just discount that going forward, even if they know that he was, he had no, or he felt he had no choice. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how he takes that going forward, but he, like I said, I think the main thing I take from this episode is that Mark still is not okay, and I do hope that at some point before the season gets too crazy, he does figure out his equilibrium and start to figure out, like I said, who he's gonna be going forward. He can't ever be the guy he was pre-Angstrom, but he doesn't mean that he's completely, that he has to like punish himself forever or act like, I don't know. He doesn't have to overcompensate, I guess is the thing. I feel like he's overcompensating right now with getting in Cecil's face like this and everything. Like, now he wants to be so hyper righteous, and it's like, bro, you don't need to do all that, right? Like, all I said from last season, which I still maintain, is that Mark just needs to understand the gravitas of what he did, which I think is fair to say that he does, so that it doesn't become something that's complacent. That's all it is, right? You have that level of power and strength. You need to be responsible with it and not ever discount the value of lives, right? That was really all that I think he needs to take from that. And I think that he's far from that. And thankfully, because he does still have his mom in his life, I think that that's going to be something he's never going to forget. So yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 1. I liked it. I hope you guys liked watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.